There's a lot more rain chances in the forecast. Tonight, I'm going to step us through Wednesday all the way through Thursday using Future Track to show you when you can expect storms.
Plus, cleanup begins for a local nonprofit after flooding from last night's storms.
McFarland still doesn't have a new police chief. I'm Kyle Pizarski with why the decision is not so much about urgency, but more so about getting it right.
And that's all ahead on News 3 Now at 6. Good evening, I'm Eric Franke.
And I'm Sarah Carlson. We begin with first warn weather. Storm chances still remain after last night's heavy rainfall.
And it's not just tonight either. Southern Wisconsin could see shower chances throughout the rest of the work week. We have team coverage on the impacts these storms are having in our area. But first, let's start with what's ahead with Chief Meteorologist Alex Arrington and your certified most accurate forecast. Alex.
Eric, Sarah, more rain, as you said, in the forecast, over 3 inches. We've had reports of 4 and 5 inches. Thanks, Ann, for sending us this photo here of a little over 3 inches in Denver, and more is on the way. Let's take a look at radar 3000. We have a couple scattered showers, maybe a clap or two of thunder that's just been really hanging out over the north part of Grant County. Heavy rainfall, certainly a possibility out of a couple of these showers. Not seeing any lightning, so they're all showers right now, but heavy downpours are a distinct possibility. Let's use Future Track here. Future Track tonight is showing a dwindling mode. We have had all those clouds about today, so that has put a little bit of a damper on the ability for thunderstorms to pop up this evening. Nonetheless, still can't rule out a shower or a thunderstorm overnight tonight, but we have much better shower and thunderstorm chances in the forecast. Unfortunately, it's going to line up with some big events coming up. Planning the evening, though, first day, muggy, cloudy skies, a slight chance of a shower or a thunderstorm. Any shower could produce heavy rainfall and some gusty winds. Then we turn our attention, as I mentioned, big day tomorrow, concerts on the square. I'm tracking a line of thunderstorms coming up in Maine weather. We'll use Future Track to show you when you can expect those storms in your neighborhood.
All right, Alex, thank you. And right now, the cleanup begins for several businesses after last night's storms after they flooded overnight. And that includes Woodman's on Madison's east side when part of the roof collapsed there. This is video from a shopper at the time of the collapse. You can see the rainwater pouring into the store from outside. Madison Fire says the 2 drains on the roof, the main roof drains, had been plugged with debris. The outside area of the roof is still intact. Woodman says no one was hurt during the incident and that an assessment of the damage started today. And they just announced moments ago that the east side store will reopen tomorrow morning at 6. Woodman's is currently waiving service charges for online shopping services at its stores in both Sun Prairie and also its Woodman's store on Madison's west side. But it's not just Woodman's that was hit by the storm last night.
As our Ellie La Liberté shows us, a nonprofit just minutes away from that store is now looking to recover from their own damages.
When Debbie Armstrong came into work this morning,
there was water clear up to the front door.
She was flooded with emotions.
I wanted to cry.
She's the owner of Camp Creatability.
This is our client's safe space.
A nonprofit that works with people with autism and other disabilities, teaching them skills in the arts.
We've been in this space for 2 years. There is something about the autism community that is very, very special.
Last night's storm putting a pause on programming.
Routine is really, really important to our clients, and like I said, just them not being able to come in today kind of upsets that whole routine that they would normally have.
The flood destroying or damaging computers, walls, art equipment, and furniture.
The water came in through the back door, and by the look of the mud on the ground, you can tell it just didn't stop.
We've got insurance, but of course they don't cover flooding.
She estimates it will cost $30,000 to $40,000 to get the space back to how it was.
So we're going to keep moving forward because we've got the client's interest at heart, and so we know that that's going to be our best interest, is to keep going and get them back in here and feeling good.
Camp Creatability hopes to be back open and running in a temporary space by the end of the week. There's also a GoFundMe set up to help with the financial burden. Reporting on Madison's east side, Ellie La Liberté, News 3 Now.
All right, thank you, Ellie. And if you're interested in donating to that GoFundMe, you can look for this story on our website, channel3000.com. And as the rainy week continues, you can track the forecast for yourself on the First Warn Weather app. It has hourly planners, road conditions, and radar as well. You can download it for free in your phone's app store. Just search WISC Weather.
Well, now to an update on a murder-suicide out of Janesville. We're learning a 4th person has now died. That shooting happened June 17th at Aspen Square Apartments on North Pontiac Drive. Again, this is in Janesville. An investigation found that one person shot 3 others before dying by suicide. The shooting, they say, stemmed from a domestic relationship between 2 of the people involved. The Janesville Police Department reported an autopsy will be conducted and the name of the victim will be released by the Rock County Medical Examiner.
Well, it's been 9 months since the village of McFarland has had a permanent chief of police, and that's not going to change for a while.
But as our Kyle Pazorski reports, not all see it as a negative.
While the village of McFarland hasn't had a permanent police chief since last October, village administrator Matt Shanky tells me it's not so much about getting one right now, this second, but more so about getting the decision right.
And make sure that we bring forth a process that we can feel is transparent.
Sitting side by side with interim police chief Brian Redmond, Shanky's sharing that he's confident in the leadership and current direction of the McFarland Police Department, even without a person at the top.
Where we're at now is just an incredibly stable department.
Saying the process to recruit a new chief throughout the first half of the year helped to clear up their priorities. The hiring of a new lieutenant is now at the top of that list.
There's other places we can be impactful in a shorter time period that will benefit the next recruitment as well.
He says the hiring of Brian Redmond on an interim basis following the resignation of Chief Aaron Chapin this last October has put the department in a good place to transition to what comes next. That's why the Police and Fire Commission's decision to not extend an offer to the 4 finalists was not as disappointing as one would think.
It'll take a little while to flush out and make sure that our new officers are in place this fall.
As for Redmond, he shares the same confidence that business will continue as normal.
Even without a chief, a full-time chief in the position, we still function like a normal police department.
And Shanky further tells me he expects a new police chief will be found and put in place replacing Redmond sometime in early 2026. Reporting in McFarland, Kyle Pazorski, News 3 Now.
All right, thank you, Kyle. In other news, today marks the 3rd anniversary of the overturning of Roe versus Wade, the nation's abortion law. Since the decision, states across the nation have reverted back to their laws regarding abortion, and that includes Wisconsin, where for several months abortion was restricted. Currently, the procedure is legal for Wisconsinites. In 2023, a Dane County judge ruled Wisconsin's 19th century abortion law bans killing fetuses, but does not ban non-medical consensual abortions. But the case didn't end there. The state Supreme Court is considering 2 cases looking at whether the state's 1849 abortion ban is valid. The other, whether a constitutional right to abortion exists in Wisconsin.
Now to the latest from the Middle East, where new U.S. intel says the U.S. military strikes on Iranian nuclear facilities did not destroy the core components of the country's nuclear program, only setting it back months. This as President Trump says the ceasefire between Israel and Iran is back on track after a phone call with Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Meanwhile, the president of Iran releasing a statement today, according to local media, saying, quote, Tehran is ready for talks and to defend the rights of Iranian people at the negotiation table, adding Iran will not violate the ceasefire unless Israel does so first. The turnaround comes hours after the president lashed out at both sides, claiming they violated the ceasefire that he had announced just the night before.
We basically have 2 countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing. Do you understand that?
In a sign that the ceasefire agreement between Israel and Iran could be sustainable, Israel prepared to fully reopen its main airport.
Well, tonight, the city of Fitchburg will vote on whether Monkey Shine's Bar and Grill will be able to keep its alcohol license.
And this comes after a string of incidents at the bar. News 3 Now's Jalen Banks joins us now from Fitchburg City Hall. And Jalen, what can you share with us?
Eric and Sarah, in just 30 minutes, the Fitchburg Common Council will be having their Common Council meeting. On tonight's agenda, as you just mentioned, they'll be voting on as to whether or not Monkey Shine's Bar and Grill will be able to maintain the alcohol license. Now, just since December of 2023, they've had 3 incidents of violent crime, 2 stabbings, 1 shooting. One of those stabbings turned fatal just this past May. Now, I was able to speak with the city's administrator on Monday, and they share with me they've had conversations with the owner of Monkey Shine's Bar and Grill, and those have been constructive. They've had several conversations about ways to make the bar safer, different safety precautions that they'll be able to take. But as for tonight, that owner will be able to go before the Common Council and present, an agenda and things as how they plan on making the bar safer. Tonight at 10, I'll have more on the meeting as well as the final vote as to whether or not Monkey Shine's Bar and Grill will be able to maintain their liquor license. But for now, reporting live in Fitchburg, Jalen Banks, News 3 Now.
All right, Jalen, thank you. Well, you have less than a week to go now to vote for Madison Magazine's Best of Madison. And this year you can vote in 150 categories of your favorite people, places, and things to do in the area. You can only vote once in each category. You don't have to live in Madison to vote, and voting is open until June 30th. Coming up next, a troubling trend for our nation's liver health.
Plus, a big win for environmentalists in the state, the recent ruling from the Supreme Court on regulating forever chemicals.
You're watching News 3 Now at 6.
Well, a big win for environmentalists as the Wisconsin Supreme Court ruled that state regulators can force landowners to clean up emerging pollutants before they're officially designated as hazardous substances. That includes PFAS, or forever chemicals. The 5-2 ruling is a defeat for the state's powerful group representing businesses and manufacturers. This ruling will have an impact on cities all across Wisconsin, including Madison, where people are grappling with PFAS contamination. Attorney General Josh Kaul issuing the following statement following that ruling, saying, quote, "This ruling for the DNR is a win for the protection of our environment. A contrary ruling would have significantly weakened our spills law."
We have a warning tonight. Deaths from alcohol-related liver issues are on the rise. New information shows deaths from those issues have surged nearly 9% annually since 2018. That's more than double the previous rate in the U.S. Earlier today, News 3 Now spoke with an expert from UW Health about why this is happening.
We've been seeing rising rates of alcohol use disorder, which is sort of the prerequisite to alcohol-associated liver disease, basically for the last 20 years or so past 2 decades. But we've really seen a big rise since the pandemic and kind of leading up into the pandemic.
If you believe you are suffering from alcohol use disorder, you can get help at the National 988 crisis line. Still ahead from us, get ready for crowded skies during the 4th of July holiday. We'll tell you what the TSA is forecasting.
Plus, Concerts on the Square returns tomorrow, weather permitting, and we have a preview of the annual event and what's playing.
And how much more rain can we expect this week? Alex comes back with the latest after the break.
You're watching News 3 Now at 6.
Concerts on the Square returns tomorrow, a free event on the Capitol Square, perfect for a summer night out. Enjoy 6 weeks of free Wednesday night concerts. Food vendors will be available. You can even reserve a table with catering. People can mark their spots with a blanket starting at 3 p.m. on the Capitol lawn. If you're driving downtown, remember the streets will close at 5 p.m. The music starts at 7. Tomorrow's concert will feature Motown and R&B classics, of course, weather permitting.
Well, the 4th of July holiday is quickly approaching, and the TSA, as usual, forecasting a very busy travel period. More than 18.5 million people are expected to travel by air alone from Tuesday, July 1st through Monday the 7th. The highest passenger volume is expected on Sunday, July 6th, with approximately 2.9 million passengers. So if you're traveling with children 12 and under, the TSA says they have practices in place to expedite screening. Those kids can accompany a TSA pre-check enrolled parent in those pre-check lines.
The Milwaukee Brewers looking to even their series against Pittsburgh tonight on Television Wisconsin. Last night the Crew dropped the series opener 5-4 to the Pirates. Tonight, Freddie Peralta on the mound for the Crew, looking for his 3rd straight win. The left-hander Andrew Heaney will start for Pittsburgh. First pitch set for 6:40. The coverage begins at 6:30. You can find Television Wisconsin on channel 3.2 over the air, 6:05 on Charter Cable, and 14 on DirecTV.
Well, we have more storm chances around for most of the week. Here is Alex with the complete forecast.
Absolutely. Plenty more storm chances. Let's break that down. Bottom line, a few storms overnight tonight. Tonight, I'm not expecting widespread showers and thunderstorms, few and far between. But high chances of storms Wednesday night, Thursday and Thursday night, anywhere between 1 to 3 inches of additional rain. And localized areas could get more than 1 to 3 inches of rain over the course of the next couple of days. Right now, radar 3000, couple scattered showers, maybe a clap of thunder here right around the downtown Madison area. off towards the south and towards the west. We also have a couple of additional showers, maybe a rumble or two of thunder, although there's another phenomenon going on over parts of northeast Iowa, northwest Illinois, and southwest Wisconsin. I'll tell you about what that is in just one moment. Future track, though, here showing a couple showers, maybe a clap or two of thunder, but as you note, few and far between. That's the mode of showers and thunderstorms for tonight. The clouds that we've had today really have polluted the environment, as we would say in the weather world, not allowing as much heat and humidity to build up. Now we got a big day tomorrow. We were saying weather permitting. Right now we'll be tracking storms moving into southern Wisconsin during very close to the time of the Concerts on the Square activity tomorrow evening. We'll be keeping a very close eye on this, and we're providing them as readily information as we get that information. Let's go through this together. Future track, maybe a shower at 2 o'clock in the morning, a couple showers, maybe a thunderstorm to start off the day with Savannah at 8 o'clock. The air lifts towards the north with a warm front with scattered thunderstorms right around noon, and a weather system is going to move along that frontal boundary Wednesday afternoon. Couple scattered storms, but right now, mostly to the north. Watch what happens, though, as we head towards 7 o'clock. One thunderstorm right over Dane County, and what we'll be watching is off to the west as this weather system moves in. Thunderstorms will become more likely as we get to the mid to late evening hours on Wednesday, but it could be a bit sooner, meaning it could be as soon as 7 o'clock. And then we race here into Thursday, a repeat, carbon copies, scattered thunderstorms with a cold front coming through. Some of these storms on Wednesday evening, tomorrow, and Thursday evening could be on the strong to severe side, and areas that have received heavy rainfall, get ready. The potential is there for more heavy rainfall, the possibility of flooding rains. Gusty winds would be the main threat from the thunderstorms. And that other phenomenon right now, this is through this evening. Don't be surprised if we get a very rare funnel cloud report in southwest Wisconsin. This is called a cold air funnel. It's a funnel cloud that doesn't or rarely, if ever, touch the ground. It's just a little bit of rapid rotation at the bottom of the base of a cloud, of a shower or a thunderstorm. Not expecting widespread cold air funnel clouds overnight tonight, but there is that chance, just to put that out there in southwest Wisconsin. Again, staying stormy with 1 to 3 inches of rain yet this week, and it's going to be muggy all the way through the end of the week. That's the fuel for these showers and storms. Clear out the Saturday and Sunday. One more front coming through on Sunday that will end the stormy chances for a few days until we head closer to the 4th of July.
And we'll be looking closely for that Concerts on the Square,
yes,
too.
All eyes on Future Track tomorrow and our radar trends tomorrow. We'll keep everyone up to date.
All right, thanks, Alex.
Alex, thank you. Zach's here talking about an event very special to the Badger men's basketball coach.
Yeah, always bigger than basketball. Coming up in sports, who Greg Garden is teaming up with for his next event with Guarding Against Cancer. That's next on News 3 Now. One of the neat parts about Guarding Against Cancer is that Greg Gard and his wife Michelle don't just focus on one area of Wisconsin to raise money and awareness. They take the fight around the state. And in September, they're teaming up with his brother Jeff and coming to Platteville to support local cancer organizations in southwest Wisconsin. These events are always good, but this one means just a little more for the Guards.
This is bigger than basketball, and I think for us to be able to come back, you know, having only grown up 25 miles away from here, and they've all been special, this one climbs to the top of the ladder. And obviously this event keeps the money in southwest Wisconsin. This is an opportunity for us to put money back into southwest Wisconsin and support those individuals that are going through the fight and making sure that they know that they're not going through it alone.
But the fundraising doesn't stop there. In October, the two brothers will coach against each other when the Pioneers visit the Badgers in the Guarding vs. Cancer's annual benefit game. It will be the third meeting between Wisconsin and Platteville, the first since 2016. And Brianna Decker is headed to the Hall again, but this one is the big one. Wisconsin women's hockey's legend will be inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame as a member of the 2025 class. Now, this comes less than a year after she was inducted into the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame. Decker is the first former Badger women's hockey star to be in both Hall of Fames, and we're still waiting for Casey O'Brien to be picked in the PHL draft tonight.
All right, Zach, thank you. And tonight on News 3 Now at 10, much like the rest of Dane County, Fitchburg's population is growing, but as the city makes plans to accommodate that growth in one neighborhood, residents who live there say the change is unwelcome. Will their fight against the city make a difference. Maddie Heimsch reports tonight, News 3 Now at 10.
And my final check on our forecast.
Yes, we're getting some unconfirmed reports of cold air funnel clouds. These are funnel clouds that rapidly spin up at the base of a shower or a weak thunderstorm. They rarely touch the ground. Getting some viewers submitting some photos. I'll be reaching out to you to figure out where your location is. My guess is it's over southwest Wisconsin near the Lone Rock area where we have a couple of showers. So don't be surprised to see one of these rare cold air funnel clouds. Again, I want to stress they rarely, if ever, touch the ground and rarely, if ever, cause any damage. Shower, thunderstorm chances, they dwindle as we go into the evening hours and going into the overnight, but much better chances for thunderstorms, unfortunately, for concerts on the square as we head into Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening. All eyes on the First One Weather Team will be on Future Track and Radar 3000, giving everybody updates on the latest when we can expect those storms in the Madison area and in your neighborhood, too. Staying stormy through Thursday. Can't rule out a strong storm Wednesday and Thursday. Steamy by the weekend with more storms. They'll slice into that hot and humid air mass Sunday afternoon, and then we'll cool down just a touch next week.
And you're the official guy, right?
I am,
when it comes to making it. No pressure, Alex.
No pressure at all.
For concerts on the square.
Talking with them at 10 o'clock, noon, and 2 o'clock tomorrow. We'll give them the very latest forecast.
We'll make sure everybody knows in advance before they go down there with their blankets and then have to come home. We don't want that. Alex, thank you. Thanks for watching News 3 Now at 6. Coming up next is Entertainment Tonight.
And our next newscast is coming up at 10. You can always find us streaming as well 24/7 on Channel 3000+. We'll see you then.